Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Automation Station here with the PeakBot team, your friendly automation platform. I was trying to think of something cool there on the whim.
Something clever. It's hard to be clever on the fly like that. You know, it's a talent that some people, you have it for the most part. I'll give that to you. But
I was going to say, I've built my entire career on just winging it, right? But let's get some music going here. Very exciting show, episode 156. Got Ben and I here. Got a lot to go over. Of course, we'll go through our bots, how they performed this week, talk about what's hot, what's not. We're going to be more formally moving into a what's hot, what's not process. We're gathering everything on the back end, but the idea here, people, is anything of our bots and or any of our partners' bots that turn a profit in a given week, anything in the green, we're going to talk about it. All right, anything making money. So we've got a couple partners right now that are crushing it. One probably worth mentioning that we haven't talked about in a while, and that's Terry's Tips. We're going to take a closer look at how he's been performing. John over at Terry's Tips has been doing this over 20 years with his newsletter and his different portfolios. He's absolutely crushing it on IWM this year. One of his 4 portfolios trades IWM only, selling credit spreads. It's up 62% year to date. For a reminder,
that's crazy.
IWM's up about 3.
I trade IWM.
Yeah,
I trade IWM every day.
I should say IWM's up 3 as of last week. It's probably up another 3% just today. So today's been crazy. But anyway, so we'll get into that and more today. We'll get trader trivia for anybody who's trying to earn their opportunity to get free access to our proven automated trading strategies. You'll have the opportunity to do that. We'll learn a little something from a did you know fun fact, and then we'll go from there. Obviously, crazy morning. We will talk about the market jump this morning and what may have fueled that and where it might be going and some economic events going into next week. Okay, we set it up.
We did.
Did I miss anything?
Thank you.
No. No bot, no King Condor, no Shorbo trade today because of the economic event. Jerome Powell, Fed rates, right?
Yeah, it's the Jackson Hole Symposium.
That's right.
Currently happening, concluding tomorrow, I believe. And Powell gave some remarks this morning hinting at rate cuts coming in September. So that's the market's happy because borrowing is going to get cheaper. If borrowing gets cheaper, more people will be taking that opportunity to borrow money so that money can make more money, thus theoretically stimulating the economy.
Hey, it's that simple. It's that simple, people. No, it's not. It could be more complex. But all right, amazing. So let's get into it today. We're going to let some people join over the next few minutes. For those of you who aren't familiar with what's been happening this morning, you can see it there. I believe the first bar today, you can see it where it lines up with the 22nd. And then just some big action. Huge 15-minute bar at 10 o'clock. And then we've consolidated just a little bit here. Ben, would you say that, oh man, it's really close to touching the all-time high? I don't think it is, though.
All-time high at, what is that? It looks like 64.81.34. No, not quite there. We got up to 64.78. $3 off.
$3 off. All right. Well, hey, by the end of the show, we might be at an all-time high. All right, Ben, so let's get into it. Why don't we do this? We can pull up results for each of our bots. I think we start with the Ben bot coming off of a big win already today. So maybe if you wanted to pull up the action or the chart on IWM, and I think we kind of walk through how we navigated this. So really quick, Ben, I'm going to take over just for a second so that people can see what they really want to see, and that's the results.
Yep.
And then we'll get right back into it. So here's Ben bot on the month of August, okay? Up $285. That's a 1.14% return on the cash needed to place these trades, which is roughly $25,000. There's a little bit of a buffer built in there. A huge win today. We're going streaking 3 days in a row. Okay, $19 win, $95 win. Ben, if I had to imagine the $19 win on the 20th, did the price move against us or
That was
no?
a save. Yeah, it was a save.
Great save. Yesterday took home $100, and with the action this morning, already locked in nearly $150 win. That's a 0.58% return just today alone. Let's look at the charts and let's see, or your account, and let's see how we got there.
Yeah, I mean, these are the actual trades that I took. You can see I got into a covered call. Actually, the bot got me into this covered call at 9:33 this morning. That's when I filled. I just sent a market order. I said, give me the shares, give me the contract. I'm in this. Let's go. So my call filled at $1.72. I sold that. So I got $1.72 right off the bat. And
Nice.
then I bought the shares at $227.98. So almost for $228.
Okay.
So that was my opening position. And then I did place an order to just close out at $227.95. That's typically what I would do to close that position down. I placed that pretty early. I would let that sit in the account, just be there throughout the day. And then Powell spoke.
Mm-hmm.
Then Powell spoke. The market shot up, and let's take a look at that real quick. I'll switch over to this screen. So Powell speaks at 10 o'clock, and you can see this huge green bar appear, and get rid of these purple bars here. This huge green spike up at 10 o'clock when Powell spoke, announced that they were considering cutting rates in September, so on and so forth. Now, when we got into this position, again, we sold the 228 call. So if we're above that call, we're going to get assigned. Our shares are going to get taken away at 228. So I like to close that down so that way I don't have to pay any sort of assignment fees, which on Tradier is $9, or if you're with PeakBot, it's $5. So I like to close down those positions beforehand. And not everybody has that $5 deal. So sometimes it's cheaper to close down the position. Anyway,
Yep.
So I see this big spike up, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's probably still some premium we can get on some decay here. And I'm thinking this as we're like mid spike up, right? Before we keep going upwards. So I'm like, okay, we've seen things like this before during FOMC events, right? Where we see a huge spike up and then right away we come right back down.
Yep.
So in my mind, I'm like, we've got some gains on the table. I want to secure those gains and give myself the chance to maybe make a little bit more money on some theta decay. So what I did was I bought a put at the 228 strike. So at this point, I sold the 228 call. So if we finish above 228, I'm selling those shares at 228. Now I bought for 26 cents. I bought the 228 put. So that way, if we finish below 228, we get to sell those shares at 220. So either way, whether we're above or below 228, we're selling those shares at 228. So that kind of locks in where we're at right now. And then what I did was I replaced this order that I canceled earlier to close out the covered call, and I placed it at 227.93. I said to myself, if I could close a little bit earlier than normal, take all that risk off for the rest of the day, go into the weekend with a nice win, worth the extra $2, right? So place that. It took a while to fill. I say a while. It probably took like 20 minutes to fill. Once that filled, well, now this 228 put isn't protecting anything. So I'm just going to sell that back and collect some more premium. I got $4 back from that. So when you add all of that up, the purchase of the share in the call, the purchase of the put, the selling of the covered call, the selling of the put, all that netted out to about $145 gain. Pretty happy to have that today.
Clip that. Lot going on, and enough for people to realize that although this is a simple strategy, okay, generally speaking, compared to other strategies now goes, there's a lot that you got to do. There's a lot that goes into it. If you're doing this manually, you better not be at work. Better not be watching your kid. I mean, we know you're probably doing both of these things, and that's fine. I'm not judging you, but your trade's going to suck because you're not going to let your job or your kid suffer. Your trade's going to hurt. So it's a lot going on there, Ben. There's a lot of moving parts, all within a few hours, and there's not like downtime. You got to have your eyes on the monitor here. So, especially in this volatile market, Ben, great job. $145 a unit. That's a larger win than average. Yeah. Certainly, I think it's the largest win of the month. I think it's the largest win. I'm going back now. Ben,
probably
this might be
June.
I'm in May. All right.
Really?
In May, first day of May 1st, we had a $154 winner. We had another 153 in May. So right now, it's in the top 10 gains. Any guesses on your largest win? No, this is fun. Any guesses on your largest win on BenBot?
$350.
Yeah, 340. Let me check March. Yeah, 345.
Yeah.
In April. Man,
that was a day after a $700 loss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It seems that you weren't going to forget this one. So here's what we're talking about here. Let me get the banner out of the way. So this was back in April. Traded all but one day in April.
Oh, it says June at the top, by the way. Change that.
Come on, Thomas.
Interns. This is Thomas.
Sorry. Let's just go back to April here and see if that helps it. Is it gonna? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So yeah, man, you were hot here for a little bit.
No, it was the market was so volatile.
Yeah.
And it was after that $700 loss. That's when I actually put in place the rule of, hey, if we gap up over 2% overnight, I'm not going to trade that day.
Great rule. And then it came into play here, probably, unless there was another reason for that. Yeah. But yeah, look, I mean, I know we do this every show, but there's good reason for it. If you're looking for a bot that's going to trade every day, sell a covered call in IWM, adjust your positions if needed by rolling calls down, collecting more premium, limiting losses, all the things that you want, but you can't do, get on BenBot. All right, 4.16 in March. 3.3 in April, 6% in May, 1.6 in June. July, first red month, but we only lost $300. Isn't that beautiful? Look at IWM in July. And then August, great recovery, up 1.1% on the month. So great job today. That's BenBot. Let's go into Shorbo. I think there's a couple things we can talk about here. So the trades on Shorbo this week have been interesting. Meaning more so than just the initial entry, right? We're getting some reversals. We're forming flies. We're getting, we've had a double win scenario last week. So we can kind of break this down. Here's the month on Shorbo. Okay, let's remind ourselves. We're coming off of a great streak here from the end of June, up about $300 into a great July. So bot was up about $1,000 from the end of June till now. And that's about right because we're just only down about $170 on the month here. So we are seeing 3 losses in a row. We were on here. If you were tuned in, we were telling ourselves, boy, something's going to give here soon, right? 3 wins at the end of July, 6 more at the beginning of August. We were saying on this show specifically, heads up, people, we're returning to the mean probably soon. Not financial advice. Bang, double loss on the 11th. Took one on the 12th. Double win, right? That 285 there last Wednesday. That's a double win.
Double win. It was nice. Iron
reversal.
Condor.
Yep. Formed a condor, reversal, double win. All right. So, Ben, let's talk about this week then. No trade Monday. No trade today with this symposium, etc. Let's break this down.
A lot of chop. Just a lot of chop.
So, a lot of chop. Yesterday, we formed a fly. Right, where we were bearish to start the day. Pull up SPX here. So let's go to the 15-minute bars. Let's get rid of any marks on here. Just delete everything. Okay. So then yesterday, this was the open. All right. So we're talking, Ben, if I'm looking at this correctly. So this is our orb. All right. Yep. Roughly speaking. We break south of orb right away here. All right. On the first candle on opportunity, 10 o'clock, we're bearish. All right. And what was our strike was 375.
Yep. 63.75. That was our call credit spread that opens up on a bearish breakdown.
Yep. So when we break here, all right, and I'm gonna continue to zoom in even more so we can see this. When we break south of orb right here, we're gonna sell the call credit spread, call it 130, 150 in premium, something like that.
Yesterday was actually quite a bit. I think we got like $1.85.
Oh, okay. All right. So definitely higher than usual. Makes sense. Okay. Then immediately we have in our Shorebo strategies, if we reverse orb before noon, okay, and that's, I'll make this line whatever, red. So if we see a reverse of orb before noon, okay, we're going to reverse the trade. So the next 15 minutes closed north of the opening range, which means we're going to enter a reversal, now selling a put credit spread, all right, for more premium, all right. And then what ended up happening was we had an iron fly. We have a sold call and a sold put right here at 375 it was, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So this, by the end of the day, this blue line was the price in which we were hoping to close near. All right. And you can see we closed at, call it 375 bucks off the fly. So when that happens, we're going to see the loss. Okay. And as such, you can see here $183 loss. We don't need to go through the chart on the other two, but were these also reversals or was this just getting blown out? Okay.
All were. Actually, I think the three, I think all were reversals.
So we could probably catch
because it would be a larger loss if there was no reversal, like that $420 loss that we saw 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so like we'll get rid of the lines here again. So like this was the first bar on Wednesday. Ben, I think we just
no reversal there.
No reversal, just took the loss on the call. On the 19th, I would assume 19th was weird if this was our first bar. So we broke north and then we broke south. So yeah, that was a reversal. That ended up being,
that's a tight opening range there.
It is. Yeah. So anyway, okay. Well, that's the Shorebo bot.
A lot of whiplash this week.
Yeah, it's tough. But again, only down 100, 1.6, 1.7% on the month. We'll live with that. And again, we see a lot of red recently. It makes me think that green's on its way. So that's Shorebo. And then King Condor. Better as of late, right? I mean, better as of late. We avoided what would have been, and Ben, maybe you can talk about this if you'd like. What is to come in the background for King Condor, because as algo providers, PeakBot, we pride ourselves on staying up with market conditions and constantly updating our strategies and the approach to these strategies. So we've got some new stuff cooking after this big drawdown. We had nearly a 20% drawdown on King Condor over the last 2.5 months. So we wanted to, fix that and see what we can do about it. Regardless, win yesterday. All right. Took home $300, $295 per unit just yesterday alone. Which was great. Avoided the trade today. We would have gotten blown out, right? I mean, at the open right away.
Bad. Soon as Powell opened his mouth, loss.
Yeah, getting blown out of the call side there. Do we want to talk about what maybe next for King Condor, or let it brew a little bit because we're still not sure?
Yeah, no, we could tease it now. We could give a little bit of details, and I'll say it's not just King Condor that's getting an upgrade. It's going to be King Condor, Shorebo, and we've got some new bots on the horizon. It's been a while since we released a new bot, so we've got to get a new bot out there. But for King Condor specifically, and for Shorebo, we have brought in, I'll call it a quantitative researcher. I mean, that sounds pretty fancy, but it is. It is. And they are building a machine learning model to analyze all of our trades that the King Condor bot has taken and analyze, I think it was like 350 different variables at the time of the trade. And then we can see, obviously, the result of those trades. So the model is picking up on different variables that might tip us off on whether we are going to win or lose. We started testing that model this week, And out of the 3 trades that we took, the model, and actually 4 total, because it predicted a loss today. So far, it's 4 for 4. Too early to tell, how good the model is actually going to be. But so far, the model has correctly predicted basically all the trades this week.
That's fun. And it's looking at each leg separately, right? The likeliness of this leg getting blown out, likeliness of this side getting blown out, etc. So really cool software we're building here internally to help us try to understand the market and the strategy and how they'll work together and navigate all this together. So very exciting. Updates to come. If and when that does happen, it'll be updated for you both here and in our newsletter. So, okay. Well, those are the 3 strategies for PeakBot. BenBot's doing well. Shorebow and King Condor are a little shaky, but we're coming off of a win on King Condor, and hopefully we can continue to capitalize on these strategies. Let's talk about a partner that's hot. I'm going to pull up a screenshot here. Let's just see. Save image. Let's pull this up. So I'm not sharing anything ridiculous. All right. terrystips.peakbot.com. If you're not familiar, we love transparency here. We've been partnered with Terry's Tips going into last year, 2024. Had a strong portfolio and has had fantastic results, about 170% cumulative ROI over the last 5 years. All right, so incredible returns. We've got an update on his portfolios here this year. So he got off to a not so hot start. I think at his worst, he was down 10% early on in the year. But look at the recovery here. So this bottom line is really the net, but then we're going to talk about these different underlying portfolios. And this is a copy trading partner, if you will. So any trade that John's alerting or taking himself will also be copied into your account automatically. This is exclusive to Tradier. Ben, any chance you can get a terrystips.peakbot.com banner up on the screen?
I can.
So cumulative on the year, we're looking at and by the way, this is $10K per portfolio for a total of $40,000 in buying power needed at the beginning of the year to jump in on this, okay? If you wanted to automate all the portfolios. Otherwise, it's $10K per, all right, cash needed. Up nearly 14% on the year. Ben, I don't even know now what today versus yesterday, but the market's up around 10% YTD. Today may have helped that number a bit.
Yep.
So let's call it right now just edging out the market, which is fantastic. Anybody who's not happy with that, go somewhere else. But as we start to zoom in here, we've got 2 green portfolios, one pretty red and one hardly red. We can call that one about break even. But what we do here, these are just the names of the portfolios. Boomer's Revenge trades IWM, okay, up 3%. Again, this is as of August 16th, as you can see. So last weekend, the portfolio is up 62.4% on the year. That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous, and it's not new for John over at Terry's Tips. He's been doing this for quite a while, and IWM and Qs are at his Qs portfolio are crushing it. Okay, so you can see on his Honey Badger portfolio up nearly 27% year to date. That's double the underlying return on the stock itself. Qs up nearly 13%. Again, this is as of last week. Okay. Not so hot on his Disney portfolio, okay, and just under break even on his Microsoft portfolio. While those stocks are performing well individually, the portfolios themselves selling credit spreads against it, not performing all that hot. Although, again, you're able to go in at terrystips.peakbot.com. If you want to just look at the last 10 weeks, he's been on a heater for about 2.5 months now. 10 weeks, all green weeks. He said, I actually spoke with him this morning. Today might mess that up for week 11. But point is, some of these individual portfolios in which you can fully automate up to, Ben, how many? 3 units per? and then there's a second tier where you can go up to even
Yep.
more.
Yep. 3 and 10.
3 units, 10 units. So look, this Boomer's Revenge portfolio, 1 unit has made over $6,200 this year. If you're doing 3 units on that or more, you can do the math yourself. Fantastic portfolio to be involved in. Same thing with the Honey Badger, made over $2,500, almost $2,700 per unit year to date. Okay, so Terry's Tips.peakbot.com, fully automated. Not financial advice. When we got into this partnership, it made sense to diversify, right? Trade as many portfolios as you can and end up with a 14% wide year-to-date return. You're going to be happy with that. But if you go in and you dig into the numbers and you like the approach to any one of these specific portfolios, you have the ability to do that. If you wanted to run 4 just on IWM's Boomer's Revenge, then you can. Okay? So Terry's Tips.peakbot.com. No, we haven't spoke about it in a little while. If there's any questions, you let us know. But John's back in the starting lineup here.
Just an observation from me looking at this, not having been super in tune with all these numbers. It looks like John does really well on ETFs.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, right now for this year for sure. Now, when I talked to him about this, he said you're absolutely right in this lens here. Although he's slightly in the red here and certainly well off the underlying for Microsoft, this is his horse over the last few years. Microsoft has been his most consistent, and then it's the Qs. So if I'm looking at this with my portfolio, not financial advice, I'm probably, just haven't talked to him recently, I'm probably going Honey Badger and IWM. But, there's a point to be made. Of course, we can look at these results and say, boy, let's avoid that at all costs. But having individual underlying does provide the diversification needed. Otherwise, we're kind of universal on the market. Of course, there's individual approaches happening here. You don't just trade with the market and make 62% on IWM when the stock's making 3. But anyway, a ton of information there. John puts out a weekly report that you get access to every Saturday. It's his Saturday report if you're subscribed to PeakBot. So check out Terry's Tips. He's hot, and that's what we talk about here. What's hot, what's not. So that's John over at Terry's Tips. We've got a bunch of other stuff cooking. As you guys know, we got our partner launch with Simpler Trading, specifically Trendy John over there with his Iron Fly strategy, and a few others to come behind it. Is there anything I'm missing right now that's hot or not hot?
I mean, that bot's been hot. I mean,
Squeeze should be hot today. I wonder if Squeeze caught anything with this action this morning.
You know what? I did not update my Tiggers this morning, and I have not gotten any sort of action.
All right. Well, get updating them. All right. So Ben, what else? Should we talk about economic events coming up for next week, or let's not worry about that now? What do we want to do?
Yeah, I'd like to, just for my own purposes, because I don't know I haven't looked yet.
All right, I'm going to pull your screen up.
Yep, pull it up.
TradingView.com economic events.
All right, so we had the Powell speech. We saw how that did. Jackson Hole Symposium, all good. Looking into next week, what do we got on Monday? We got building permits, new home sales, some auctions. Tuesday, durable goods, S&P home data. Nothing screaming at me, don't trade. Same with Wednesday. We got GDP on Thursday. I don't love trading through that, but we could. We got mortgage rates next Thursday. Mortgage rates did move the market a little bit this week. And then Friday seems like a heavy day for some events here. Pre-market, PCE, personal income, and then once we open, we've got that pesky Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report, which I don't think is as big of a deal as it once was.
Maybe it wasn't even the reason behind that. It was January, right? February,
somewhere around there, in the winter.
The slaughter of some of our orb strategies that were live at the moment. Yeah. All right. Because even in our back testing, that's one of the events in which we flag. Although as of late, we were thinking to ourselves June, July, based on the numbers, it might be worth trading through some of these events that we previously had some scar tissue on. But we'll continue to take a closer look. We don't want to react too fast on any major change. All right. But what else? Nothing.
That's about it for next week. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So let's get this back. That's the week this week. We're going to be doing this with all of our partners. PeakBot has about 12 to 13 white label partners in which
15,
we work
15
with.
now.
15, half of which are launched and in the market and you're familiar with. The other half being built now and coming to a monitor near you soon. All right, Ben, I think we get out of here.
No trader trivia? Save it for next week?
There's enough people here. Let's do it right now.
Okay. Let's do it.
You didn't even remind me. It's my bad.
No. All good. All right. This feels weird that we're ending on trader trivia.
Should we not? No, we're
It's too late.
it.
Questions out.
All right, people.
All right. This is how trader trivia works. If you stuck around this long, you're going to want to listen up because here's your opportunity to win 1 free month of PeakBot, where you can test drive all of our bots. No financial obligations on your part. You don't have to pay us anything. You just go ahead and get signed up. So what you need to do is you need to send us the answer to this question to experience@peakbot.com. Email is on the right. If you get the question right, we will email you back with a link to get started for free for 1 month. So the question here is, which publicly traded company makes the rockets used by NASA for satellite launches? Is it A, Tesla, B, Lockheed Martin, C, SpaceX, or D, Boeing?
Okay.
Got any guesses, Dylan?
I think, there seems like there's two what could be obvious answers and maybe one or two that are trying to throw us off. I don't know if anybody trusts Boeing to do anything anymore. And I'm actually pulling up their stock because I'm just curious to see how they've been performing.
Doug's been quiet this whole show, and in my head I was thinking, if Doug was here, Doug would know.
Yeah, Doug would know. Is he here? Have we seen any comments?
He just put in a comment that he knows this one.
Okay.
Big space guy.
All right. Yeah, we know a couple big space guys, don't we?
Yeah.
All right. Look, I'm going to give my guess after the did you know. What are we learning about?
All right. So I did talk to the person that puts together our did you know.
Did you?
And I said,
stop
hey,
giving away the answer.
I said, hey, every week we give away the answer in the did you know. Can we mix it up? Can we maybe talk about a different company some weeks? Can we? But some weeks, let's keep it as the answer.
All right, throw them off.
So yeah, we gotta throw everybody off. So I don't know if this is going to be the answer or not. But did you know that Boeing isn't just about airplanes? It once It once owned a passenger airline in the 20s. Boeing ran its own airline called Boeing Air Transport, carried mail and passengers. Cool. It merged into United Airlines. So flying United means you were part of Boeing's old airline business. All right, that's cool.
Well, there's a cool part they didn't say. Regulators decided that no company could both build airplanes and operate an airline.
Oh, I completely missed that part.
Yeah, just, the man just striking us down is all.
It makes sense, though, I think.
I think it's a responsible decision.
Yeah, especially after you're flying these people.
Imagine if Boeing had an airline right now.
In the sky. What?
Imagine if Boeing had an airline right now. I feel like their PR over the last 2 years has been bad. They've been involved in a lot of the doors flying off and other planes crashing.
What does Doug say? Doug said, you might remember last year there was a space capsule that took a crew to the space station, but was deemed unsafe to return.
Are they still floating up there?
They better not be.
I feel like they could be. Doug, let us know. There was something about people just floating around in space. We're so busy on building PeakBot for you guys. You're welcome. But we are.
Yeah, they make movies about that type of scenario.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, okay, they got back a couple months ago. All right, good. Next Trader Trivia might be how long were they in space?
Crazy. That's crazy.
Don't show his next. Don't show Doug's next comment. Let's get to the answer here.
I like that. So the answer to this question is D, Boeing.
Whoa, I wasn't going to guess that.
Boeing, through its joint venture with United Launch Alliance, the ULA, with Lockheed Martin, has been a longtime partner of NASA. It makes parts of the SLS, the Space Launch System, and satellites, a great example of a defense aerospace stock tied to space exploration. And yes, Doug mentioned SpaceX is private for now. Interesting. That will be interesting when and if it IPOs, which I do believe it will IPO. That'll be a fun one.
And so did Boeing. You know? Yeah, the did you know threw me off as it was supposed to. I was thinking maybe it wasn't aligned. It didn't actually say, because there's been a few where it quite literally says the answer.
Yeah.
But anyway,
this one didn't. That was good.
We're focused on building bots. All right.
Another random trivia question for you.
Okay.
Do you know what car company makes the engines for these jets? We know them as a car company.
I have a guess.
Yeah.
And this is based strictly off of knowing that this car company provides high level and high performance engines for Formula One.
Okay.
My guess is Honda.
No.
Who is it?
Maybe they do, but no, it's Rolls-Royce.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Rolls-Royce is actually, I'm pretty sure, predominantly a jet engine company, and then their cars are like a side effect. I'm gonna Google that right now.
Their cars do look Rolls-Royce. They really do well at sticking out. You don't drive by a Rolls-Royce often, and when you do, you know it's a Rolls. They are boxy and they almost look like spaceships.
I'm gonna search. Does Rolls-Royce make more off their cars or jet engines? They make significantly more money from its jet engine business.
Yeah, you got to imagine the margins are pretty good. You know how like they say you slap the word wedding on anything and you can sell it for a lot more?
Yeah.
Building it for space, I think that
No, that's Boeing. Boeing builds for space.
Oh, sorry, jet engines. I'm thinking jet engines.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. No, I didn't know this. That is a good fun fact. Ben, let's say we hit it big time, right? You know, PeakBot to the moon, the whole thing. You gonna be a guy who spends money on a car? You find yourself in a Rolls or no?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Not for you. Depreciating asset.
Yeah, you know, it's once you drive it off the lot, bam.
30%?
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap up. Fun fact. We went over all of our strategies. We talked about some bots that are hot. terrystips.peakbot.com. IWM strategy up 62% year to date. Okay. We'll be back Monday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern for Man and Machine for a look at the week to come. Anything that may have happened over the weekend that could have an impact on the market and much more. We'll hop into the bot shop. We'll do more education on how we built our strategies. So tune in Monday morning, 8:30 a.m., Man and Machine. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Happy trading, and we'll see you at the peak. Take care, everybody.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.